Welcome to the 21 Report. I'm Frank Pesci, and I'm here with returning speaker, anti-victocrat and pro-femininity advocate, Jennifer Molesky. Jennifer, how are you?
Well, I'm sure good. How are you?
Doing great. Are you enjoying the event so far?
I always do.
This is your second one?
Third.
Okay.
Yeah, the first year we came all weekend. When I say we, my husband and I, we came all weekend. Last year, we just flew in. I did my speech. We got to see like 2 other speeches, and then we went home because we had just moved to a homestead, and I think we just wanted to be there. And it didn't work out to be here for the weekend, but we really regretted it. So this year we made it a thing.
Excellent.
Again.
Excellent. So is there any notable differences about this event from prior events? The 21 Summit?
No, but that's not a bad thing. You know, when I was asked about this event, I always explain it the same way. If you're driving through the Rocky Mountains, if you've ever driven through the Rocky Mountains, you have to like pump the brakes, and it just smells like brakes, and there's places for the runaway trucks to go, and the majesty of the mountains is amazing, and you take a picture of it and you show your friends back home, and no one cares. Why? Because the pictures can't captivate any magnificence of the Rocky Mountains. And I think it's the same thing for this event. Like, is it fun? Yeah. Did you meet tons of people? Yeah. Do you make connections? Yes. But I can't explain it in a way until you come and you experience it yourself.
So it's important.
Yeah. And every year it's the same awesomeness.
So you meet new people, you build new relationships, you get to meet your fans. What's it like meeting your fans?
You know, it's an interesting thing in the sense of when I'm reading my comments, no one puts who they are online. There's no pictures. So I can't imagine. You know, it's like the people that have died before me. It's like they hardly existed. I can only imagine them in black and white. Except the people of contemporary, like you, I hear your voice and you're a real person. But it's my commenters, they're almost like a phantom.
An avatar.
Yeah. So when I see them, it's really interesting to see, like, they're humans, they're normal, they're wonderful. We share similar views, struggles, solutions. So that's nice to put names to faces to problems to solutions.
Absolutely. Well, like I said before we started the interview, your channel came across my YouTube feed. I guess you started to come to prominence within the last couple of years, right?
Yeah. Well, I started about 3 years ago. And, you know, my channel is weird, and I'm fine to say it. I'll have a video that is a banger, and I'll get like 20,000 subscribers because people love the message. Right. But then I'll lose 200. It's a weird thing because people, if I wanted to make a ton of money, I would know how to do it by speaking about exactly certain tailored problems and solutions. But I don't do that. I just don't care. I can't do it. So I only speak when I'm inspired. And some people just want a certain manufactured blame or solution. They want to hear that. They want an echo chamber. And then when I turn out not to be that, they don't love it all the time. So I forgot the question.
Well, it was just that your YouTube channel has come to prominence in the last few years. I found your channel in my YouTube feed, which was cool. And I had an opportunity to watch it, and I enjoyed the content. It was a breath of fresh air, like I said here in the interview before. But what I heard from what you just said is that you don't produce content unless you're inspired, which means that you're on an active journey. And while you're on the active journey, you're essentially cataloging it, putting it into a place where other people can benefit from what you're experiencing.
Yes. So there was a very famous poet, Maya Angelou. Who is it? Maya Angelou?
I don't know.
Someone in the comment section is gonna tell us. But she said, I love this. She said that she would be in the field working and she would feel in the wind a poem coming. So she would stop what she was doing and she would run as fast as she could to her room to grab a pen and to write down the poem. And she could feel the moment it would be coming. And if she had the pen, she could catch the poem. But sometimes she wouldn't make it in time and she knew that the poem would be written by somebody, but it wasn't always her. And I feel the same way. Today, I just did like a 2.5-minute video, and it was like it needed to be said. It was in my body, it was vibrating, and it needed to come out into the world. But that doesn't happen all the time, and I can't force it.
Right.
So yes, it is a journey.
So in your journey, tell me a little bit about your journey. You just stated before that you went from the Colorado Rockies, you moved out onto a homestead. You talked about how on your platform, you bring about content that is commiserate with your journey. In our talk here a little while ago, before the interview, you pointed out that being pro-feminine and displaying your femininity may be a superpower. What would you say to that?
Well, which one? Geez, the journey, that femininity is the superpower. You know, I only started really thinking about these things basically when I started talking about them. But there wasn't really a niche in the market until then. And I don't mean like for money, but it wasn't an active, there was no, probably not. I didn't find much of a need to discuss it. And then all of a sudden it was like, boom, in everybody's face, like, whoa, there is a huge problem. And I think there's been a problem with masculine women and the laws being skewed. There was a problem for a long time, but as with most problems, even in marriages, it's like rough. And then there's true evidence of the problem, a divorce or society collapses. And I only started speaking about it when the niche was really like needed to be discussed.
Was it like burning inside of you and you were waiting for a moment, or do you feel like you were just raised up in the moment, for the moment?
Sure, I would rather put it like that, but I wouldn't put it like that. But yes, I just was introduced to the notion. I had strong convictions about it. There wasn't enough people talking about it. Somebody close asked me, why are you going to start a YouTube channel? Like no one cares about you at all, or your opinions. You're great, Jennifer, but no one cares. And that is absolutely true. But the reason people care to listen at all is because it's a truth that's buzzing in the air and doesn't have any voice to it. So I wanted to give voice to it. And that's why I gained any popularity whatsoever, is because I'm not telling women that they're amazing and powerful in anything they do and you can be anything. But it was truth. Like, you do have power. Let's find it. Because it's not arm wrestling or working 9 to 5 for a shitty retirement and no children and a dog that dies and no husband and battered relationships your whole life. That's not what it is to have a superpower. So what is it? And what does a superpower really in reality bring? It would bring, I hate to say happiness because it's just so like, oh, happy, but fulfillment. A life that when you're on your deathbed, you're content to close your eyes.
I would say your superpower is your greatest opportunity to influence outcomes, right?
Say it one more time.
Your superpower is your greatest opportunity to influence and impact outcomes. Some people are great orators, great speakers, and they can walk into an environment and fire people up and get people moving. You have people who are great operational experts. You have people who are great business people. You have people who are great parents, great teachers. You know, whatever it is that their superpower is, they can affect outcomes because that's their opportunity. It's their greatest tool to do so. Have you come to that realization about your superpower?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm always looking for the piece of the puzzle to me of me and who I am and what I can do most for the world is still finding its exact piece. I asked one of the speakers, he was so moving he was a pastor, and I asked him what he would recommend. I'm a stepmom. We have our daughter full time, but I don't have children. So like, what can I do in the world to be a mother with the energy that I have, since I don't have children of my own? And when our daughter she's going to leave childhood sooner than later. So what can I do with this energy. So I'm still trying to seek it out. But right now, the best thing I can do is to homeschool and plant dahlias. I'm learning a lot about dahlias. Yeah, and flowers, and make the home a place where my husband is always the priority, and I just want him to walk in the home every day and feel as special as he is.
I feel like you have a beautiful, peaceful home. I feel like your home is probably a sanctuary, a place where your husband, your family, you can find rest from the daily. Sounds like you're planting flowers. That sounds very therapeutic. It sounds very awesome. I could plant a few flowers right now myself. And I think that that's all a good thing. I think cleanliness is close to godliness. And a lot of times when I walk into an environment that's full of clutter and disorganization, I don't sense peace in that environment. But when I find a home that there is somebody who can make it a home, not a house, but a home, it lends itself to an environment of creativity, productivity, peace, love.
It's amazing. Joy. And I actually tweeted about that today, about how women, they kind of poo-poo the idea of cleaning and organizing as if it's a lowly art form. But the truth is, there's not anyone who doesn't walk into a clean, beautifully organized space and like feel it. So if we can all appreciate it, then why is there such a derogatory tone to the idea of creating it?
Right. I served in the military, and I always keep my area clean. It's just in my nature, because I know in a clean environment, I'm more productive. I'm more at peace. I can rest better. So if something is out of order, I fix it. It's just that simple. I don't look at it as derogatory. I look at it as an opportunity to be productive and to create an environment that is going to inspire me to be more productive too. Something's out of whack, I pick it up and move on my work. It's done, it's out of the way. And that's the household that I live in. That's the household that I expect to be kept that way. So anyway, I would not see that as a lowly thing. I think it's a beautiful thing. We all have to do our part.
Yeah, it's funny because it's the men don't, well, that's not true. There's always going to be men who want feminist men who do find it lowly. But I think the majority of normal-minded human beings don't find it to be a negative, like to keep order in the home. And it's funny because Jordan Peterson talks about how women are chaos and men are order. But women have the ability to remove the chaos from the house, and yet they're complaining about having to do it. So it's like they're feeding into Jordan Peterson's theory about women, about being chaos, just like messy.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. In my household, there's not a tension. It's not like my wife is messy and I'm clean. Like, we are both appreciate a clean environment and a nice house. And we're both highly productive and get stuff done. We are of the persuasion that we're of one flesh. You know what I mean? We're married, we're one, we engage things together. And essentially what we did was we multiplied our ability to be productive, to produce, to bring forth fruit in our life, because we stand unified in all that we do. I'm not speaking as a newlywed. I'm married almost 20 years. So we've been through the ups and downs. And I will say that where two people are in agreement, almost nothing can break that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would just say that I think people totally undervalue what it is to be in agreement, to be in a marriage, to be in a relationship, to honor the ideals of masculinity and femininity, raise your children in view of those things. It's God-given. It's a mirror of heaven. And you know what? All the attacks against the image of God that is contained both in man and woman, in adults and in children, we are his creation, And anything that comes against that, it's wrong. It's perverted. And that's why we have bad outcomes in this world. But you just inspired me to share those 2 cents with you.
Oh, lovely.
Anyway, tell us about your speech.
So I have been witnessing lately, it seems to me that the abundant solution that people are trying to get everyone to adapt to is the expression, like very vocal, loud, be whatever you want to be. Oh, you look like a dude, far younger than me. You look like a dude. But it seems like everyone is saying, no, that's a boundary, that's oppressive. We should be able to burst out and be whatever we want to be. And I think that the solution is in the opposite of that, but tightening up the ship. Like I explained it as men slay dragons. They have to. We teach young men that there's a whole world of opportunity out there, but they have to choose which dragon they're going to focus their dagger on, because behind each dragon is a treasure. We don't tell men like, you can slay that one and that one's pretty easy, and then you can slay that one and that one. No, you have to work really hard and decide, boundary, constrict. And in the same sense, women should not be slaying dragons like they are. They're thinking that they're dragon slayers. But the same rules apply. But I look at it as women have a huge garden. They have a huge garden, and their responsibility is not to slay a dragon, but to decide which part of the garden they're going to spend all of their energy on nurturing. Because women right now are putting a little bit of fertilizer on school, and later on they know that they want to get to the garden of family, and there is a man next to their career garden, and they'll give both a little bit of energy. And then at the end of a life, they look and their whole garden looks like shit, because no woman is meant to tend that big of a property. You have to decide as a woman. And that is what I'm calling for, is for the restriction and decision and bounding up the energy and concentrating on it. How do you do that? The rest of my speech was about using, whether you believe in God or not, it really doesn't matter, but using the confines of the 7 deadly sins to monitor your property lines, or what you're going to spend attention on. Because if I go into the world just thinking gray, like there is no sin, boundless energy, it's about me, I can express myself how I want, then it truly is chaos. It is nothing orderly and clean. It's just like a ADHD world. So using the 7 deadly sins to decide every moment, every decision, what I'm going to do. So again, at the end of a life, we can close our eyes in peace and know that we lived the best life that God gave us. Or whatever, you don't have to believe in God. Fine, but your life, for whatever reason you were here, you lived it well.
Well said. I heard it was a great speech.
Good.
From the perspective of a woman.
Yes,
and
that's me.
from a wife.
I'm both.
What makes a healthy man?
I'm going to stick with the dragon slayer. There are things in life that men have to. So decide comes from Latin. It's like decidere, and it means to cut off. So a healthy man has decided what he's going to cut off and climb to a position of health, of being comfortable with who he is, because he has successfully slayed the dragons of his choice. And that can be a dragon of getting a degree and a career, or it's kicking a drug habit, recovering from an unhealthy family environment, whatever it is. Every one of you has a dragon that you were born with, like a monkey on your back, and also dragons that you come across. And it is being able to chop their head off and come out victorious, instead of always having, like the men that have the problem, the women that have the problems are people that haven't handled their problems, and they are addled with drugs, drug addiction, and alcoholism, and depression, and sadness, and bitterness, and contempt, and blame. That's no good, whether you're a man or a woman. It's disgusting.
Which was my next question.
Okay.
What makes for a healthy woman?
The same thing. It is deciding what you. Oh, it's cultivating. Sorry, I did like a 12 threaded Twitter exactly talking about this. So I'm just trying to.
Excellent. Let's pull it up on the screen.
That would be awesome.
No,
But what makes a healthy woman is deciding that it's okay to be a woman, examining what that is, and peacefully becoming it. So here's the deal. Men, it's like, I was telling my husband, if I was a dude and I was going to start a YouTube channel, I'd be really interested. Like if I had low testosterone, you have to start with low testosterone for my YouTube idea if I was a dude. Okay.
All right.
You start with low testosterone, and then I would do like an ice bath every morning. And every day I would count my testosterone level. So after a month of ice baths, how much has my T gone up? Okay, and then I'm gonna lift weights for 6 months, and how much has my T gone up? And I'm gonna shoot my gun, and I'm gonna get advanced in my career, and that's going to improve my self-esteem, my testosterone, my masculinity. Women is totally different. Ice baths are not gonna make me more feminine. They're not gonna make me a better wife. So it's so bold. Men are just so bold. Even like the problems of society with men. It's like rape and violence. It's like so obvious things. But women are just as destructive, but it's more underhanded. So the same with finding the solution and finding how to get your femininity. It's very underhanded. It's contemplative. It's so in my thread, I'm trying to remember. I suggested taking a butler course because that is like the closest you can get to a finishing school.
Interesting.
You know, how to run a household, how to lay out clothing, like how to take guests and serve and do everything for managing a house. And that's what a woman does. I also suggested studying the art of the geisha. Like, why was she the avatar of femininity in that culture? Well, she was an entertainer. She was soft, but she was present. Like everyone knew when a geisha was in a room. She was erotic, but so very subtly. Studying the Bible contemplatively, quietly. It is not speaking about it. It's not being a pastor. It is reading the Word of God and being quiet with it. It's like femininity is just so much more of a whisper than being a masculine man.
Do you think the zeitgeist of the current times have tried to dissuade women from being feminine?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
it is a superpower? Because it is a key that unlocks 1,000 doors?
Perhaps. Yeah, I mean, I say perhaps only because I've always considered it what they're trying to do is just destroy the family, because that's where all the power is. But within the family, you have the masculine, you have the feminine, and then you create a life together. What? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
it's amazing.
The blank slate of family, and then you get to create a whole army of humans who love their neighbor and want to do good in the world. Like, that is some amazing.
You seem very happy and full of joy.
Oh, good.
Right? Am I right or wrong?
I am. I run pretty happy. Yeah.
What would you want people to know about the type of life that you live? You promote it. You have a YouTube channel for it. When you want them to, I guess, see or understand that there is joy in doing things the right way, or the way that God created them to be.
Yeah. So the question is how
what would you communicate to people? If it was me on the camera and they asked me about my life, I would say being a masculine man creates inside of me purpose. It puts forth mission. It gives me boundaries and parameters and guardrails for life, for me to encounter problems and to overcome those problems. I cannot do life without challenges as a man. Otherwise, I become fat, I become lazy, I get nothing done. I would love to hear from the perspective of a woman. What does femininity provide for you in terms of the joy and the pursuit of great things?
There is peace here. But women, you know what? Women don't really want peace. So I guess the advice that I would give is go on a truly feminine journey into what you really want, because it's hard. Listen, you've been brainwashed. Me too. We're all a bunch of psychos who have been infiltrated with media and sex and blood and gore and corruption and evil and mistrust. Okay? So we have to get off all that. That would be what I would say. Who you are, the true feminine woman within you is just waiting to be revealed. But it takes taking a breath, going, okay, let's humor Molesky and say, what if she's right? and considering through like writing and making sure that your thoughts are really your thoughts. Because I would say that for most women, when you get, your wants and desires have been totally hijacked. Like you have been sold that you love something or that you want to be something that you don't. And now this isn't for all of you. Okay, maybe not. But I just know that since I have embraced being a woman and not really like not working outside of the home and working for another person, like I love working for my husband and I feel just like so strong with him. So if it works, there's a saying, misery loves company, but it's a lie. Everybody loves company. Okay. So if you have, that's why it's really dangerous to hang out with people who have been divorced or recently divorced, because they want like, how are you guys doing? You're not doing that. Oh, you should do. I'm having a great time. And you can come out with me. They want to have you join them. So, I think I lost what I was saying. So, thinking about, I have your best interest in mind. And shoot, I lost it.
No, you didn't lose it. You're communicating the joy that you're experiencing in walking out a good life, a family life.
Yes, that's it. I know what has worked for me. It took a long time to find it. And if it works for me, I would like company for people to join me because I have found that this works.
If people want to consume your content,
you would go to YouTube and you would look up Jennifer Molesky. And then you would wait until it refreshed, and then I would be at the top of the page, and then you'd press subscribe, and then you'd look at my content and decide if I'm for you.
What kind of content are they going to find there?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I just talk a lot about, as you pointed out, my journey and what are the actions to be happy within a marriage. Really, I talk mostly about relationships.
Jennifer, since I've seen you and your husband at this conference, I have not seen you guys without a smile. You're very social. You guys are engaging with people. Do you think it's important for people to come to the 21 Summit?
Yes, I do. And just like I said at the beginning with the describing the mountains, it is a place to connect with people who are not psychopaths.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. This is a great place to be.
But that's it. I don't want that to be the pitch. Like, hey, come, we're not totally psychopaths.
Well, there's this too. There is a divergence of ideas that exists here. Yes, there's a common umbrella.
Yes.
People are in pursuit of the best version of themselves. Mm-hmm. People are, advocates for a better society. But it doesn't mean that everything and every conversation you have has to be something you fully agree with.
No, it doesn't. But thank you.
Okay.
I described it as the people here all have the same root system. Same root system, same trunk, but the branches are different. So you can still, it's not just an echo chamber, there is a whole tree of thought, but it's with the morals and values that we share.
Okay.
So that would be.
I brought out that illustration from you.
Hey.
I want to at least think I did. That was beautiful. So well said.
Good.
So well said. Okay, they know where to find you.
Yes.
With that, I'm Frank Pesci with the 21 Report and returning speaker, Jennifer Molesky. Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you.